For those of you who are doing blood glucometry, don't you get tired of that? And guess what? All those needles, every time you use it, one number, having to record that number or remember it. Wouldn't you like to have it less expensive? Wouldn't you like to get rid of needles? And most of all, wouldn't you like to have continuous glucose monitoring? Well, all of that's available. Actually, it's been available for 2 years in Europe through a device made by Abbott. The FDA in the US has not approved it until recently. We'll talk about it for just a minute, but first a quick introduction. My name is Ford Brewer. I'm a physician, PrevMed, heart attack, stroke, cancer, disability prevention. And I'm going to talk a little bit about needle-free glucometry. First of all, this was announced just recently. The FDA has finally approved continuous blood glucose monitoring. And yes, if you noticed a little frustration in my voice with the FDA, yes, it was. I actually testified for the FDA on a needle-free immunization device, which has been used for decades. And they pulled the approval on it. And I have to tell you, I was really not impressed with their decision-making capacity. It seemed to be driven by competition more than actual concerns. But that's just my own one-time experience. Maybe there's a lot more to it than what's going on. But this has been available in Europe for 2 years. Now it's not quite available here. FDA has approved it. I guess Abbott's working to get it ready. I'm not sure what the holdup is now, but again, hopefully by the end of the year. That's what they're saying. I did a printout from a group called Diatribe. They have a lot of good information on stuff like this, and they have good information on this one. Let me just give you some basics on it, the advantages that it brings to the table. So again, Abbott Freestyle Libre, approved on September 27th, 2017. No needle for 10 days in the US, for 14 days in Europe. It's continuous glucose monitoring. I'll show you in the next slide what that means. It's like opening up a whole new world of very important information for those of us who've done finger sticks. It's been available, as I said a couple of times, it's been available for a couple of years in Europe. The differences include a 12-hour instead of a 1-hour warm-up. And what that means is you have to put the patch on like the night before, and then that next day you can start using it. The second thing is 10 days instead of 14. So I'm sure if we ask our FDA, they will tell you they've got some concerns about that immediate 1 hour, or that 1 hour warm up and days 11 through 14 that have been used for 2 years in Europe. So here's what I mean about continuous glucose monitoring. And you'll see some of this on the device, the reader device itself. From a cost perspective, the reader device is about, I think, $65. And I believe these patches are they somewhere around 60? I'm not sure. But if you're one of these people that's doing 4 times a day, and you're using a Freestyle Light strips at $1 to $2 a piece, you can see how it starts to get less expensive even than doing a lot of glucose testing. Now, imagine when you do yours, instead of having to stick yourself with a needle and worry about blood and all of that, all you have to do is just pass it over the patch. You take this, pass it over a little patch, and I think I have a picture later of the patch itself. Actually, this is a picture of the patch. And I think I have a picture of someone actually wearing a patch. You can put it on the lower belly, you can put it on the upper arm. There's several places that they've done it. But look what you get. Instead of just a one-time reading, you get continuous. And you get it for the past 8 hours. All you have to do is pass it over once, and you get 8 hours worth of information. And you may get this number, but what are these numbers? These bands that surround it. That is the 1 standard deviation and 2 standard deviations of your own values. So you begin to see the exact pattern plus variation of your blood glucose. What a difference in terms of new information. Now, a couple of other points about this. People have been getting it in the U.S. over the past couple of years. Guess how they did it? They had friends in Europe that ordered it for them and sent it over here. And so, yeah, you can find, you can actually find information about people that have been using it here. They say it wasn't technically illegal, but who cares at this point? You may care. You may say, I've got a friend in Europe, have them send me one over now, so I don't have to wait for it to become available here. This lady's wearing a patch. She's wearing it on her upper arm. There is a needle at one point. When you apply the patch, it does, under this patch, there's a filament. That filament is inserted with a needle once. And then that filament stays under the skin and measures the body fluids just under the skin in that area. You wave this over that patch, and you get your your download on 8 hours worth of data. Huge improvement. And go to YouTube or the internet and start looking to see what they say about this in Europe. They're raving about it. And yeah, did I tell you I was unhappy that we haven't had this for the past 2 years? Thank you for your interest.